Will really rise a lot, and if you were to come to this point in September, then you would see a very, very different view, because you'd see a lot of waterlogged paddy fields, and you'd see a lot of water in view. But now we're at the end of the very long dry season, which really begins at the beginning of October right up until now. Okay, and so Cambodia also is one of the most important features is the Tonle Sap Lake. So Battambang isn't that far from the Tonle Sap Lake. So actually we could have done some water-based geographies here, because near to Battambang they have a very nice wetland reserve and biodiversity area of Prek 12. But at least from this vantage point, you can get the idea that Battambang is located in an area where you have a very, very large expanse of floodplain, and it's kind of a Battambang is noted as a rich agricultural province. And of course, the other feature about Battambang, which we're going to find out in 2 days' time, is that it's also a border province, and we're going to go across into Thailand. Historically, there have been a lot of links between Thailand and Cambodia, and Battambang has been quite central to that. Okay. So, one of the things that you might notice here is a gun emplacement. Okay, now I did mention this morning that temples and their locations are also often strategic because they're on hills. Okay, so there was a lot of fighting around here during the Civil War in the early 70s, and also the Khmer Rouge took the advantage when they conquered this area to use this as a kind of a strategic node. Okay, so then it wouldn't be serving its religious functions. It would be mainly used by the Khmer Rouge as a kind of a military site, a military location. Yeah, and there is a little bit of evidence here. Okay, some of you may spot it soon. So we're now at one of the killing field sites. There were at least 500, maybe a lot more sites in Cambodia. This is at Battambang, and here we're at a particular memorial, which is written in English, so there's a lot of murals, and there's also a kind of pagoda-type structure with skulls of people who were found in the small ponds. Their bodies had been dumped into these ponds near to a temple complex here in Battambang. And actually this is a reminder of the Khmer Rouge past. If we look around though at some of the murals, they do tell a story. They tell a story of people being forced to evacuate Battambang. Many people from all of the towns and cities in Cambodia were forced to move to the countryside. And they also tell a story about collectivized life, the building of new villages, collective farm work, forced labor, and also, of course, some of the killing that took place. If I have one thought about this, it's very important to have memorial sites, and it's important to sort of rethink the geopolitical past. And sites like this are indeed very important. But some of the murals do portray the Khmer Rouge as if they are demons, as if they are monsters, when in fact, of course, they were human beings just like you and me. And in a sense, this was part and parcel of a party structure and an ideology during a conflict period and during the Cold War. And people were made to often do things which they may later really truly regret, or they were forced into situations which were beyond their control. one of the things that we've learnt in Cambodia is that we have to sort of think about how we portray history, how we portray society, how we can sort of develop a more peaceful way of thinking about relationships. And I think rethinking the past and visiting sites like this and going to see archives and talking with people and things like intergenerational engagement are all part and parcel of learning. So here we are. Have a look at some of the murals and you will learn a little bit about the Khmer Rouge. We're at Mount Somper. Mount Somper is about 16 or 18 kilometers out of Battambang city. And here we're at what they call the Killing Caves. Actually, this is just one site of over 500 killing areas in Cambodia. There are probably a lot more than that. But here is kind of notorious because the prisoners were pushed by the Khmer Rouge through the gap up there. And of course, they would land on the rocks down here. And probably some of them had already been bludgeoned and were already dead, but we don't know full story. But many people died here, and so they have a shrine in commemoration of people who were killed in this cave during that period of Khmer Rouge history.
I grew up in the camp, so my teacher is the one who inspiration. The refugee camp, was happened after the Khmer Rouge, when the Vietnamese come in on year 1979, and many Cambodian people moved to the border, and then a lot of refugee camp was established in the Thai border. So I'm like 7 years old. I moved with my parents to the camp. So living there, so I study painting, drawing there, and my friend do gymnastics, And when the camp is closed on 93, so we returned back to Cambodia, and in that time my teacher asked to our 9 co-founders, what do you want to do when you come back to the country, because you don't have education, you don't have money, you don't have house, you don't have land. And we say, oh, we love to continue the art school, because I think this is what that we love so much, and we really have a strong passion and commitment to do. And my teacher said, okay, let's do it. I will support you to find the fundraising, because we are very quite young. In that time, like 20 years old, and grew up in the camp. We don't have any education on how to do fundraising, So my teacher, okay, I will support you to find the fund, but you have to have a strong commitment and passion to do that, because you don't have salary, everything you don't have.